Hi, my name is Tyler and I suffer from dissociative identity disorder.
So, what is this particular disorder and what's it all about?
Well, there are 7 people living through me, and that's 8 if you include myself. My therapist believes that all of these different people or characters are all fragments of my personality.
Who are the different alters that you have?
This is a complicated question for me because I know who they all are and we all talk to each other on a pretty regular basis, but I don't feel like I know them as people, if that makes any sense. Their names are Cletus, Gertrude, Lee, Svetlana, Tyrone, George, and Philip.
Do these characters act and age differently than you?
Yes, although I'm 19, each of the different alters age completely differently. Cletus was the first to out himself, so to speak. He came out when I was about 6 years old, and he's actually 29. Gertrude is the only girl alter of mine. She came out a little bit after Cletus, and she's only 17. Tyrone is next. He's only outed himself about twice in my entire life, and he's also 19. Lee is my Chinese alter. He actually doesn't speak any English and is fluent in Mandarin. He claims to run a pizza shop dojo combination, and he's about 30 some odd years old. George is the oldest alter. He's 76 years old, and he claims to have fought in the Vietnam War, and he's the most aggressive of my alters. Svetlana's Bulgarian, and he's a paraplegic, so every time he outs, I lose the ability to walk or stand in any way. And last is Philip. He is only 6 years old, and his main characteristic is that he really, really likes canned beans.
Hi, I'm Chase, and I have what is known as Body Integrity Identity Disorder, or BiID for short. This disorder has made life rather hard for me, but most people don't understand that it's just that. It's just a disorder.
Tell me about BiID.
Well, in general, broad terms, people that have this disorder, like myself, they just feel like one body part or one sense, like sight, isn't necessary for their daily lives.
So, in your case, what do you feel like you don't need?
Well, ever since I was younger, I felt like both my legs are completely useless to me. Like, I came here in a wheelchair, I don't use my legs. Honestly, I fight thoughts of chopping them off every single day, and I don't use them unless I absolutely have to. I much prefer the wheelchair. I keep myself in it because it just feels right for me. Some people say that I'm crazy, while others fully support me. I see this disease, this mental disorder, as just normal for me. I mean, just like anyone else, everyone's got issues. Just like how people like and don't like certain foods. I don't like my legs. I just can't push my legs away like a plate of said food.
Hello, my name is Jana. I suffer and have been diagnosed with what is called Imposter Syndrome.
What is Imposter Syndrome and how does it affect you?
Imposter Syndrome is what makes me feel like I'm not really me. My accomplishments in life feel undeserved, and I have a strong will to succeed despite this. I live day in and day out feeling like I'm not really me. I am living the life of somebody else.
How long has this affected you?
I was diagnosed in middle school. I won the science fair with an amazing presentation on bodily radiation via airport scanners and lasers. I told my mother that I didn't really make that presentation. I didn't feel like I was really achieving anything.
Our next case did not want their identity to be revealed.
I will not disclose my name. I shouldn't even be here.
Tell us why you're here. What did you get diagnosed with?
They tell me I have Fluenza. I think they're full of shit.
What is Fluenza?
According to my lawyer, it means that I'm so wealthy, I don't know right from wrong. But I do. What happened wasn't wrong. That's why they're called accusations, because they aren't true.
What did you do to be in this position?
My buddy and I went on a hunting trip in Wisconsin. Clarence and I didn't have our safeties on, but who cares when it's just the two of us and we're out there to kill? We were drinking, but who doesn't when they're out hunting? Like, seriously, man. Everyone has a few beers out there. Anyways, I was aiming at a deer that was like 100 yards away, but then fucking Clarence walked right in front of me. I shot, thinking it'd go around him, or he'd be out of the way or something. The bullet nailed him in the side of his chest, and I just stopped there for a second before taking off. They found his body, bled out like 3 days later, and then the police started questioning the shit out of me. I don't know why the hell they think I did wrong.
You believe you did nothing wrong in that situation?
Absolutely not.
Hello, I'm Craig Barnes. I was recruited to study these 4 cases for this documentary. I have more than 20 years of brain studies, and I've dealt with these particular disorders rather often. To start, dissociative identity disorder actually comes in multiple forms. Each form is unique in the sense of the alters, as they're called. Tyler's particular case is a case in which each alter has a different personality with their own stories and lives. This type of DID is often associated with traumatic childhood, with things such as physical abuse and neglect. The victim often creates these separate personalities in order to cope with the trauma. Different alters can affect life in many ways, such as switching alters in the middle of activities or daily life.
Philip here. Can I get a can of beans, please?
Tell me, Philip, what do you do every day?
I like to play on the trampoline and go to the store with my mom.
And how old are you?
I'm 6 years old. That's like 5, but with 1 more.
How do you feel about the friends in your head?
I love Lee. He makes the bestest pizza in the whole wide world, and he's teaching me karate. Cletus tells me that the coons don't need to be alive, and that is why roadkill exists. Tyler and George think that Cletus is a dummy head, though. Tyrone and Gertrude are really quiet, but that's what makes me so close to them. Howdy there, interviewer. My name's Cletus, coon killing Cletus. Nothing like making a nice appearance during an interview with the lovely lady.
Can we cut?
Come on, Doc. So sorry about that, ma'am.
It's okay. I'd like to use this opportunity to learn about your triggers, or things that cause your other alters to come on a short notice like that.
Well, you see, it's like changing clothes. Imagine you're wearing your favorite outfit 1 second, and then the next you're dressed like a 1700s British soldier. There are certain words that I or those around me could say that would bring out a certain alter, like the word coons, for example, often brings Cletus out, depending on the kind of ration it's used in. He is the strongest alter, so he does appear most often. As you saw, he easily overtook Philip there. That's also why Gertrude and Tyrone rarely come out, is because they're not quite as strong as my other alters. With Cletus being the strongest, and since he's also been around since I was a little kid, that's why he's the strongest one that I have. And him and I are also good friends because of this, but that's all mostly by force. It's not like I have a choice to not know Cletus, right?
Body identity integrity disorder is a mental disorder that is characterized by someone and the uncontrollable urge to amputate or paralyze a body part, or even bind or deafen themselves. The cases of this are so rare that there are only a few thousand ever recorded, so the case is mostly just theories at this point. The current research suggests that there is a difference in the premotor cortex of those without BiID. Those with BiID have more limb sensitivity and thus more activity in that area of the brain. The cause is currently unknown, but there is a potential that BiID is a congenital condition due to the fact that there have been no recorded cases of onset BiID.
Tell me about your experience with BiID, and why do you feel awkward expressing the motives?
Well, just like every disorder, it's something that I can't help. Like I said before, it's not something that everyone supports me in. One thing that I know for certain is that there are other people out there like me, and we're kind of being studied. Like, I've joined in these studies, which often contain brain scans, in which areas of the brain may be associated with my dislike for my legs. Yeah, they found out this, like, the premotor cortex is the area of the brain that we're, like, more sensitive in.
What kind of motives or things do you see in your day-to-day life that feel what you want for no legs?
Well, seeing amputated people is actually it kind of bothers me. I know there's almost always a sad story behind them or a reason that they needed to have it. The amputation of limbs would be a story of nothing more than my uncontrollable desire to stop walking for myself. I've heard stories of people with BiID who bleach their eyes to go blind or play air horns in their ears to go deaf. Petitions go around for the legalization of healthy limb amputation for people like me. And the tissue and blood from these limbs could be donated for those who may need them. They're still good, there's nothing wrong with them, we just don't want them.
What about a fake diagnosis from people who want disability services?
Well, obviously there would be a need for diagnosis for people like me. No diagnosis means no healthy limb removal. That's pretty simple. I think, though, that if someone is serious enough about the procedure, then they wouldn't feel the need for disability. We don't want disability. We just want to feel comfortable in our own bodies. I'm not asking for special treatment. I just want to live my life how I want.
What is your relationship to Chase?
I'm his older brother. I'm basically the leg man, no pun intended.
Do you like your brother?
Of course, he's my brother. I love him even though his condition may restrict my life at times.
Do you resent him for it?
I get annoyed sometimes because he can be a bit much, but he can't help how he feels, and I think he's so brave for being so honest with himself and others.
Do you think your brother and others with this condition should be allowed to have their limbs amputated?
Absolutely. With a diagnosis from a psychologist and an okay from a doctor, I believe that anyone should be allowed to feel okay in their own bodies.
Imposter syndrome is when the individuals referred to as imposters constantly doubt themselves. They feel their achievements aren't deserved and their accomplishments merely happen because of luck. Imposters are terrified of being found out, for being a fraud because of having someone know of their competence pressures them. Even though they downplay their success, they have a strong will to do good and have a strong sense not to fail so they can keep up their perfect disguise.
What does a normal day look like for you?
Not too different from yours, I imagine. I get up, get dressed, and I go eat breakfast. Nothing too out of the ordinary.
What about the interactions you have with your family in the morning?
I tell my parents good morning and I look at the person in the kitchen window. The person I claim to be. A complete facade. I smile for them, whether I'm happy to see them or not. It's what they've come to expect from their loving daughter, Jana.
Do you love your parents?
Yes, they raised me and have taken care of me my whole life. Why wouldn't I?
Why do you feel like this?
It's really hard for me to imagine being a genuine and good person when I always feel like I'm pretending. I strive to be better every day, but I never feel like I do. I know that this is just my brain making me think this way, but knowing doesn't really stop the thoughts.
Fluenza is a tricky subject to talk about. Many psychologists don't believe that this is a real thing, but more so a quasi-illness. Typically, the persons affected with this come from wealthy families or the affluent. It's why they call the illness affluenza. Historically speaking, the only real diagnosed case of affluenza is the one discussed in this film, and one with a young man named Ethan Couch. Couch killed 4 people in a car accident, also leaving 1 paralyzed. He was drunk that night and got away with it because his parents paid off plenty of lawyers.
So, what do you usually do on your typical day?
A lot of the time, I just hang out at my friend's house or in my room playing video games.
Do you often do this on school days?
I do what I feel like doing.
I see. How exactly do you get to your friend's house?
I drive there. My mom leaves her keys in the same place every goddamn time, then gets on me for taking them.
Without a license?
You don't need a license if you know how to drive. I spend a lot of time behind the wheel, so it's not like I'm inexperienced or anything.
Do you think you're above the law?
Obviously not, if I'm caught up in this ridiculous court case. But I do believe some laws are unnecessary for someone as much as myself to follow.
So you get a pass because you're well off?
Essentially. I've never feared the law or the consequences of my actions because I've never done anything wrong. And if other people think I did, my parents just throw money at it until it dies.
What do you think is right versus wrong in this case that you're in?
What the hell is wrong with you people? I didn't do anything wrong. This interview is bullshit. You're bullshit. Get out of my face.
From commonly known illnesses like depression to lesser studied ones like affluenza, each and every mind differs in its own way. Some think faster and others problem solve better, but each difference doesn't stop each person from being unique, special, and valued. The studies in this film were designed to learn more about the disorders and illnesses and the people who deal with them. We hope that there is a better understanding of those who suffer from mental illnesses, whether it's directly caused or hereditary. The beauty of the mind is far from being fully understood, but each day inches us closer towards greater knowledge of our own biology. Thank you for watching, and if you have any cases you would like to study, please submit a request on differingminds.org.
The real question to be asked, where have I been? I'm a sharpshooter. I post masquerade.